Welcome back to the channel. So glad to see you. Glad to have you. Pull up a chair. Today I want to talk about what tool should I get past a knife? What tools should I be looking for? Why should I be looking for those tools? I do several tutorials on the channel that are more advanced that have a gouge and a V-tool brought into the mix. And really everything that I've done on this channel, you can do if you've got a knife, a V-tool, and a gouge. But which gouge, which V-tool should you get? The options are nearly limitless. I mean, like they are daunting to look at what all is out there and what you might want to get. So to make that decision a little bit easier, to provide you some clarity and a little guidance on what you might want to look for, I want to go over those today. I've got a video all about palm tools that will really do a deep dive into the subject. So watch that on the channel if you're looking for a deep dive into palm tools so you can clearly understand what all the sizes mean and all of that. It's very good. This one is just going to be about V-tools and gouges that you're looking to get past a knife, like the first set. So it's going to be a little bit more streamlined, a little bit more compact. We're going straight to the point. Let's flip the camera around. We'll jump right into it and go over what you need to know to make an informed decision. So the first tool I suggest you get is a V-tool. The second one will be a gouge. One V-tool and one gouge is absolutely the next step after a knife, because when you've been whittling with a knife for a while, you're having a lot of fun. But if you want to get into tutorials or do things that require a tool past those, this is when you're going to need a little bit more help, because you want to be able to do more with a piece of wood than only what you can do with a knife. I mean, sure, you can create a V-cut like this right here with a knife. It's hard to make that a consistent shape with or on a curve with a knife. But if you've got a V-tool like this, I can make a consistent depth, consistent shape V, and it's just really easy to do, really easy to accomplish, and I can do all kind of fancy things with a V-tool that I wouldn't be able to do with just a knife. V-tools are going to come in a couple different varieties. They're going to come in 60-degree V-tools. They're going to come in 45-degree V-tools. They're going to come in 90-degree V-tools. And understanding what you're looking for is going to help in that regard. So when it comes to a 45-degree V-tool, file makes a number 15, and this is a file 15. You can see the 15 right there, and this arrow symbol is the symbol of the company File, P-F-E-I-L, right? They make this particular V-tool, and it's got a very tall, not very wide aperture there for the carving. And when you see a V-tool come in like a 10 millimeter V-tool, 5 millimeter V-tool, or whatever, the millimeters is referencing the width from tine to tine along the top right here. The angle here, this is the degrees they're talking about. So this one is a 45-degree V-tool. That's what a number 15 stands for. So the 15 on the tool references the 45 degrees. Now, File also makes a smaller 15. That's not it. So this is it. So both of these tools here are number 15. And you can see the V's in them are the same shape, but one is wider than the other. Now also you should notice this, okay? The smaller V-tool is simply the bottom of the larger V-tool. I can do more with the larger V-tool in most cases than I can with the smaller V-tool, because I have the smaller V-tool from here down. That V-tool here just doesn't go as high as this one does, but like this section from this pencil down, that is the smaller V-tool. So if I take this smaller V-tool and I draw a line here, I can do the same thing with this larger V-tool, and it's the same line. I barely have any difference there. But with this larger V-tool, I can also go in here and go deeper. And because it's such a deep V-tool, I can go deeper yet, and then deeper yet, and then deeper yet. And so I can make this really big gouge right there, and this little V-tool can't do that. So why would I even want a little V-tool? Well, let me use this rough out here. Here's a rough out I've been working on. It's a Roger Stiegel rough out. It's a Santa Claus, right? But this has got this spot here between Santa's face and that scroll he's reading, the naughty list, right? And it's difficult if you're wanting to do this beard here to get a larger V-tool in there all the way without damaging that scroll. So in this case, this specific case, having a smaller V-tool will allow me to get in there and get much deeper along that beard if I'm trying to provide texture to that beard. And so I would use a smaller V-tool to do that, because the smaller V-tool isn't as tall, and so I would be able thus to get in deeper into that area. So that's a specific case in which I would want to have a smaller V-tool. So if you're looking for a V-tool, I suggest getting a larger one first, because you have more options in most cases. The selling point for a smaller one is, again, use cases like this, trying to get up underneath the hat bill or in between this scroll and this beard. You're not going to find those cases all the time, but you're going to find them more and more the deeper you get into wood carving. So as you get into things, you may end up buying a smaller V-tool and a larger V-tool. My main V-tools are these 4 V-tools right here, and I probably end up using these 2 number 15s the most. These 2 number 12s end up sitting in there and never doing much. It's these 2 V-tools are the workhorse of my carving. I mean, if I could only keep two V-tools and I would only use 2 V-tools, it would be these 2 number 15s. However, these are number 12s. Number 12s are 60-degree V-tools. These are 15s, and they're 45-degree V-tools. And these 60-degree V-tools are not that much difference in the angle than a 45. You see, it's just halfway between 45 and 90 at the 60-degree mark or so. And it's just a little bit of a wider V. So when it comes to this, I can accomplish what this 60-degree V-tool does with a 45, though, simply by this. When you make a cut, now I go back in and I lean a little bit to the left. And there's approximately a 60-degree V. Or I can lean a little bit to the right and carve, and I've got approximately a 60-degree V. So I can just wallow the hole out a little bit by like carving it once and then leaning a little bit one direction, carving again. And so I can get a 60-degree channel if I want to, approximately. And so I find, for me, that the 45-degree V-tools, number 15, work better for me. So I like a 45-degree V-tool better than I like a 12, because I feel like I have more flexibility and more options. So those are my thoughts on the number 12s. Dockyard makes a set of cheaper V-tools that are fantastic, and these are small 45-degree V-tools. Right, like so, okay? Little bitty fellas. And they're great for getting into tight places, but a 45-degree V does not leave a very deep trench. It's very wide, so you can't go very deep with these smaller ones, but they help you provide excellent texture. Like, look at that. Like, if you're trying to do a beard, those little lines, those are fantastic. And these like $15, $16. If you're looking to save money and you want something that's affordable and can be workable and you can use often, I am consistently using Dockyard tools often. So those little 2 guys are fantastic, and they are always in my tool carrier whenever I go anywhere, whenever I go out and do stuff. I'm always using Dockyard tools. So those are V tools. That's my spiel on V tools, on what you're looking for and why. I suggest you get a V tool. I like best a 45-degree V tool, and about a 1/4 inch to about a 3/8 is a really great size for me. I like this big number 15 that File makes. That's probably my most used V tool. But any V-tool of this approximate size, whether from Stubai, whether from M. Stein or Beckwith Forge, or anywhere you get a V-tool, Flex Cut, what have you, they're going to work. They're going to work just the same. You don't have to get a file. This is just the one that I happened to get whenever I was a newer carver, and that's the one I stick with because that's the one I got first. So that's my spiel on V-tools. Now let's talk about gouges, because you want to be able to create a nice swoop, a curved line in your carvings and outside of just a V-tool. So how do you do that? Consistently, I'm going to suggest a number 9 or a number 11. All right, number 11 on the right and number 9 on the left here, you can see they create nice scoops, right? Big U-gouges. And the number 9, we don't technically call a U-gouge. We call the 11 a U-gouge because you can see this very U-like shape to it. That's why it's called a U-gouge. Anything smaller than 11, we shouldn't actually call a U-gouge because it's not shaped like a U. This number 9, though, folks often call it a U-gouge because it's still vaguely U-shaped, and it's still just a gouge, though, right? So both of these provide that little scoop that you can do. A number 11 has higher sides, just like that VTool, where you can go deeper with a larger one. That gives you more flexibility, maybe. A number 9 works very well as well, but a number 9 might be a little bit easier to push through wood because it's not automatically traveling as deeply as an 11. So I would say that might be a concern for folks who have weaker hands. Maybe lean towards number 9 versus an 11, but if you haven't gotten one yet, because if you're going to get deeper into wood carving, you're going to end up getting both a 9 and an 11 most likely when it comes to these tools. I love the 11. I love how deep I can get with it, but I can make lines that are incredibly similar with a number 9 and number 11, like these two lines right here, and you can barely tell any difference between those two lines whatsoever. So what is the use case difference? Why would you want one over the other? It depends on how intricate you're getting in your carving, what shapes you're looking to make. For most folks doing carvings, they're not going to see much of a difference between a number 9 or number 11. As you get deeper and you're doing more advanced carvings, maybe you're doing something like this Rich Weatherby rough out I did in the class with Rich Weatherby, you're going to be very concerned with the exact shape of your tool if you're doing something like this. If you're not doing something like this, it's not going to matter as much. This is a Kevin Applegate carving. He's a CCA member, right? It says Kevin Applegate right there. So Kevin Applegate did this carving. He's a CCA member and won this carving at a recent seminar I went to. And when I got back to my hotel room, I created this trying to mimic his work, right? On this carving, I wasn't as concerned if I was using an 11 or a 9 because it doesn't matter as much because the character. I'm not going to be that concerned with getting an exact shape in certain ways. So like I was fine with using whatever happened to be on hand and whatever I could grab. But doing something like that, I might not be. So when it comes to one of these, I would suggest either a number 9 or a number 11. Now, again, the numbers on here refer to the sweep, right? A number 9 is starting to flatten out a little bit. So it's that curvature. The closer you get to a flat line is a 1, and a number 11 is a very deep sweep, okay? So the closer you get to a 1, and the further down you go that scale, the more it flattens out. So that number 9 is a little bit flatter than the number 11, and that's what you're seeing there. Now, when it comes to other ones, when you get a wider number 11, you can see they really start to deepen. But it also widens that. So whereas a V-tool is exactly the same, a gouge is a little bit different because the smaller one can actually fit down inside of that bigger one. So you gotta be careful. You gotta think, like, which one do I want? I would go for something between 1/4 inch and 3/8 to start with. That's a real good size, between 1/4 inch and 3/8. That way you can have more flexibility in what you're looking to do, and that is what I would do with those. Again, these two here are Stubai palm tools, and they are a great brand, but it doesn't have to be Stubai. You could try to get a file palm tool. It doesn't have to be file. You could go again with, these are some dockyard tools, and they have some smaller ones. This is a 5mm U dockyard tools, and I'll show you right here. Where's those two I made? There's those two, right? So there's number 11, number 9, and here is a dockyard tool. We'll put it right up there and connect those two together. And do you see any difference between those? Not really. And this is a $15 tool or $18 tool, depending on where you buy it. But like it's a really good tool. It's a solid tool. So it depends on what you're wanting, what you're looking for, as to what you can find. Here are a number 9 and number 11 from Badger State. I really enjoy the Badger State handles more. They're squarish and they're thinner and they fit better in my palm. So these are a fantastic option, and they make both the sizes that I would suggest. So if you go with Badger State and you buy either one of these or both of these, you're winning. You can't go wrong because they are the width that I would suggest to someone. And yeah, right on the money. Just like I said, right there, a great option. No problems, no fuss, no muss. They take off wood, you know? And so those are a great option. Battery state blades, number 9 or number 11, or get both. Because you're going to wind up getting both at some point anyway if you get deeper into wood carving. A V-tool and a U-gouge. I suggest for a gouge, a number 9 or a number 11, 3/8 or 1/4 inch. And for a V-tool, 3/8 or 1/4 inch. Number 15 is my preference, which is a 45-degree V-tool. But a 60-degree V-tool, a 90-degree V-tool, those will work as well. So those are my suggestions for what you should get past a knife. If all you got is a knife, this is what you should get next if you're wanting my advice. Now, with all of that said, understand this. Pick whatever you want. Don't take my advice only. I'm trying to give you the best advice that I can, but as wood carvers, we're all very different creatures. You're going to prefer to carve a different way than I do, and that's okay. That's the way that we all do this. It's just fine. Don't feel like you have to carve the way that I carve in any way, shape, or form. Past a knife, everyone almost categorically and universally will suggest a V-tool and a gouge, which is why it's so easy for me to suggest as well a V-tool and a gouge are the next steps. Doing all the tutorials I have on the channel are going to require at the very minimum a knife, but the more advanced ones are going to require a V-tool and a gouge. And so as you get into those, if you want to do more advanced stuff, you've got so many more options with a V-tool and a gouge. So my guidance here is not to say necessarily like that this gouge or this V-tool is the only one for you. It's to provide just a little bit of information, a little bit of background, so you make the best decision possible for you. I really appreciate your time. Thank you so much for watching the video. If you like this kind of content, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel. Head over to Instagram, Facebook, give me a like and a follow over there. Our Patreon subscribers are listed right here. Please thank them. They have made the things that I'm doing possible. I am working on a carving gloves video. I mentioned that last week as well, and I am still working on one. I have spent a lot of time with gloves. I'm going to try to cover as many gloves as I can, but they cost money. So I really appreciate the help of our Patreon subscribers, sincerely, wholeheartedly, from the bottom of my heart. Thank you, because like this video is going to wind up costing like $200, I think, so far, because it's just a lot of gloves. But it's fun, and I want to be able to do it because I'm going to be using gloves the rest of my carving career, and I'm not going anywhere. And so I want to be able to find which gloves I'm going to prefer and be able to talk intelligently about them. And someone says, "What kind of gloves do you like and why, Johnny?" Well, here's what I like, here's why I like it, and you'll be able to do that too when I get this video out. As I got 2 more pairs of gloves coming in to try, and I want to put like 8 hours or so at least into carving with that glove, but there's going to be a whole video on it. Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate you guys, and everything else has already been said, so I'll see you guys next time. Bye.